Very sad day today, guys. Very sad. Even Mabel's sad. End of an era. What is this? A new Cosy crank on
brand
the
new.
balancer.
Brand new Cosworth crank, a Mar Motorsport one.
Nice.
Really, I'm just checking it as, you know, as we should, really.
As we should, mate.
Not saying that anything's wrong with them, but
You know what they
just
say
got to
about
check
assumption?
them. Well, exactly.
Mother of all
Yeah.
cock-ups.
So I've actually balanced the crank itself already.
Yeah.
It just needed a few very small bits just to...
Yeah.
It wasn't far out. I mean, it's not like it's unbalanced. It's just that
No.
they balance it to a tolerance, whereas I've just turned the machine up to max and...
Well, these billet cranks, really, in theory, if you have a look at the machining, and they look like they should be absolutely cock on, but
Yeah.
it don't always work like that, mate.
No, it
and we
doesn't.
know that from things like the performance steel flywheels, lighting flywheels. They look absolutely perfect, and they do.
A lot of the
sort
time they're
balance
really
on.
good, but
But once you
depends
stick them on the end of a crank,
Yeah,
they could be all over the shop. So
exactly. So it was only very slightly out, but that's sorted now, and I'm just balancing this new front pulley.
Oh, nice. So
Which
this
I've had to-
pulley here, there's a little bit of a secret to these, or
Yeah.
not so secret if you know the secret.
Well, there's two sizes, isn't there, really?
Yeah, so
You can get
apparently
there's
the nose of the crank on the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive are very slightly different.
So it's the very end bit there.
Yeah.
It's just slightly different size.
So the
Couple
smaller
of
one is a four-wheel drive,
Yeah.
and if you buy a two-wheel drive pulley and put it on the end of a four-wheel drive crank, could be a little bit of slop there, mate.
Yeah. So we've got this is a four-wheel drive pulley.
Yeah, so we buy the smaller pulleys
On purpose.
forward on purpose.
And then we machine them out to the right size.
Yeah,
so
and
they've
this
got
being
good
a
fit.
new crank doesn't necessarily, although in theory it should be absolutely cock on, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
So we like to just machine it and make sure it is a snug fit.
Yeah.
Or a slide fit.
Yeah, good
if it
slide
isn't
fit.
already.
And actually, it feels like the keyway is, or the key is.
That's another thing. You've got to make sure, don't be misled by the old key.
It will go on, I think.
Perfect.
But it's just
Be all right, mate.
might
won't
need a little file in there. Brand new key. So.
it? Nice.
But yeah.
Obviously, when we use a second-hand crank, I've had it before where they can sort of just flop about on there a little bit. But
Yeah. At first, I thought this little sprocket was wrong, but turned out just there was a nice big burr in there. So
lovely jubbly.
yeah, and obviously being brand new crank, it's going to be absolutely bang on size-wise.
Very good, mate.
That slides on there lovely, and I'll
Nice.
sort that out, and it will go on lovely as well.
Excellent. Right, so through here we've got a couple of subjects to go on about today, guys. One of which is a new item that we have had, a new product that we're probably our first bit of sponsorship for a while, mate, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we talking about this? Are we?
We are. And I'll
Cool.
move on to that in a second, following on from these here. So we've got the two Cosworths there and there, which we have got all the bottom ends cleaned up, done all the machining. Been a busy week and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a lot done, really.
We have. So we've got liners put in both of the blocks. That one there had the studs, but we just had to modify the depths, go for two longer studs from Julian Godfrey. And this one here has got a set of the ARP. Yeah, they are an ARP stud, I think.
Are they?
Made
I don't
for
know.
Julian Godfrey.
Probably.
But anyway, yeah, this has got
probably
the
made by
longer
them.
studs in now. So we've just got to, I think we're waiting for two, because they were short on stock with a couple of nuts and the studs. So once we get that, mate, we can crack on. But I've been madly doing machining over the last week, and I've done my final bit today. And the final bit was, I'm going to let you hold the camera now, mate. I'm a bit,
fine.
I don't want to make them feel any more sick than I have to. So the last bit of machining I've done today was to machine the valve cutouts on these pistons, and these are the standard Marla Cosy pistons that we're using on this engine. This is going to be about 450 horsepower, but we know that we love these tried and tested original Marlas, and we can use these. We use these up to sort of 600 horsepower.
Are they a forged item from the factory?
They are forged indeed, yes.
So they run a forged piston
I mean they're a bit.
anyway.
If you're going to start running more than sort of 5.5, 600 horsepower, usually go for an aftermarket item.
Yeah.
Because they just lighter basically.
Yeah.
And then what you tend to find is once you start going over that, you've got to start revving the motors more. That's why you go solid lifters and all this. But anyway, dummy cutouts, made sure all the weights are good, and obviously done a dummy build to check the protrusion, because obviously we can't, although we've give this block a light skim where we put the liners in, you never know who's been involved with these motors before, do you? And sure enough, the first one I put in, mate, we got 50 thou protrusion.
And what do we aim for? About 12?
So I probably took about 4 thou off that block. As standard, you're probably looking at about 15 to 20 thou protrusion. So there's about 25, 30 thou been chomped off this block in the past.
This is the issue with the Cosworths, isn't it? They're such a desirable engine, and they like to run a lot of power through them.
The trouble is, they've been in bits many times before in the past. No matter what you've been told.
They like to run power, so naturally they've been apart about 6 times in their life.
And it's all very well nowadays where we get the engines and we go through them with a fine-tooth comb, do all the trick bits, and obviously the bill's a lot more than they used to be, and would be if you just sort of did a budget job. The vehicles are worth a few quid now, but you've got to bear in mind, for many years these vehicles weren't worth a lot of money, and they certainly probably weren't worth going to this extent, so people tended not to.
Well, and this is where people run into issues now with like DIY home builds and stuff. Not that they're doing anything wrong, but they put a piston down the hole and then they look at it and think, well, I've got 2 mil of protrusion, what's going on?
Well, the trouble you got is a lot of people probably wouldn't even look at that. They would just assume that that's what it's meant to be, like pop a gasket on.
Standard thickness gasket on.
And that's where you run into problems maybe later on down the line, if not immediately. So it's not that we, do the old COSI tax. We don't charge any more hourly than we would do in anything else like a Morris Minor. It's just literally they take the hours and that's it, really.
There's a lot of stuff to check on them.
There is, especially when you start doing the studs and the oil
and liners
jets.
and oil jets, it's lots of work.
A lot of labour. New set of rods, mate, with this one. H-section rods.
Yep.
And should we show them our trick bit of branding, mate, shall we?
I reckon so.
So these are our Barham Engines rods, made by Bridgeway, and I expect you're wondering how we put that on there. Should we show them, mate?
I think so. It's been sat in here for long enough.
It has, really. We were meant to do a video about a month ago, but we just haven't had time. Yes, it's orange, but that is just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But it does help because that's our colour. But this is the Creality Falcon A1, isn't it? Give me that camera and you tell them.
Right, so basically, it's a laser etcher / it can do cutting on like acrylic or thin wood and stuff. And it also does, as you saw, the etching on metal, like the rod.
And that's a pretty trick.
Yeah, so basically it all runs through your computer. It's got a camera in there.
Lovely.
And the idea of that is when you are designing something on the program, if you go on camera here and take a photo, it takes a picture of the inside of the machine.
Yeah, and whatever is on there.
Yeah, so then you can basically just
so you can line it, so you can get it nice, perfectly in line. Yeah,
you can import, say even this Cosworth picture that I've got here. You could obviously put it in black and white, but somewhere I've got this was pretty cool.
Well, you've got a test piece.
I actually did a picture. It's not amazing because it's obviously a full detailed picture, but that's a picture of my Legacy outside of here. You can see,
and of course you've got the
Subaru logo.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And obviously STI Barham Engines.
Amazing.
That's all done on here.
And that is our Barham Engines logo, or not logo, the writing on a Conrod. Now, if you're probably sitting there thinking, nice, you're branding up other people's products.
Well, it's not just for branding, it's to let people know who's been involved with the engine.
Exactly, and we have fitted them, we have sized these rods, and we have actually got the permission from Bridgeway to do it.
Yeah.
And they will even sell them as a blank, so on the other side we have the Bridgeway logo, and then you've got ours, so at least you know who has been inside it.
Yeah, and I guess in future we'll be able to not just put our logo on it, but say, we can have a design saying the date and who built it even from inside here, just little touches.
So the main reason we were interested in this, mate, not that we like to do sort of long ads on stuff, but this I think is very much
it's relevant. And it's very, very useful to us.
So this is a product that mainly we're going to be using in the future to put build numbers on various parts, etc.
Yeah.
Have that set up just a lot easier and tidier and more professional than just using an engraving tool, isn't it?
Well, or even like stamps, the amount of times I've hit a stamp and then I've lost it because it's gone flying across the room.
Yeah, that's it.
This is a lot more handy. You just mark
do you want
it with
to
this.
do you want to give us a little demo, mate, of it?
Yeah, so we've done this before.
Of course, he has.
Subaru logo, Bayram engines, but
nice.
I will stick it back in and we can do another. Let's do it on the other side. I think there's less on there. I'll do something small so that it's quite quick.
Yeah, as long as we can just see it working, I just think it's fairly impressive. So you're taking a picture now.
Take a picture so I know where I am. I mean, you have to calibrate this beforehand, which I've already done.
Okay.
But you only really need to do it once, and then it's good enough for to keep using for. And then what could we do? Just do a Bayram Engines logo.
So you've got that logo down there.
Select the material. So I need basswood board because that's what it is. So I've just had to put the bottom tray in because we didn't have enough height. But what I'll do now is you've got this little setting tool.
Okay.
So the idea of this is you've got engraving thickness for different, basically it's the height of the laser.
Yeah.
So that it focuses properly.
Okay.
And doesn't burn through or cut weird or anything.
Yeah.
So you just undo these little clamps.
Yeah.
And drop the nozzle down onto the thing.
Okay.
The thing, very technical term.
The thing down there, mate. The thing, the setting piece.
Pull that back out.
Yeah.
And close that. I will just take another picture of it so I make sure I'm in the right place.
There we go.
Yeah, that's fine. So now I'll frame it so it will show us on there where it's going to cut.
Okay.
Just draws a little square. You know where you're at.
That's where it's going to cut it.
Yeah. And then just press start.
Go to start, mate.
And that reckons it will take 4 minutes.
Yeah. And that, my friend, is impressive, if nothing else, when someone comes in and sees us doing this.
Yeah, looks hell of a good.
So there we go, guys. Creality Falcon A1.
Good bit of kit.
It is A1. And I love the smell of burning wood.
Yeah, we do have our ventilation pipe running off back there.
Yeah, we do.
Back into the room.
Comes with all the bits and bobs. Fantastic bit of kit.
Really is.
Get online and get one bought. Link will be, where will it be?
Be in the description.
It will be in the description.
This video.
Down below. So mate, final piston in, studs are in. Just got to put the big end caps on, torque it up, but that is, I never get bored of looking at them when they get to that stage.
They do look nice.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to get this one done. That one there's pretty much done as far as we're going to go, isn't it?
Yes, the customer's going to put in, time it up, put the lifters and the cam in.
Yeah.
All he wanted us to do was the crank and rods, and I just had to measure cam bearings, on the actual bearing, just basically to see how much clearance he's got.
Yeah.
He was worried it might be a bit tight, but he's got the right clearance, so he's all good.
Excellent, mate. So we're just trying to turn these round by the end of January, 2 or 3 of these. Yeah. And make room for that one over there, mate. Well, we've got 2 here. We've got a very nasty looking...
Yeah. So the guy with this is a twin cam Fiat, or, an Alpha, I suppose, isn't it?
Nice.
And it's, as you can tell, pretty much like a junkyard engine.
Been sitting in a lake by the looks of it.
And he said basically all he wants with this one, he's not worried about the head. He doesn't really, the head's not an issue to him. He needs a block to use with another cylinder head that he's got. So he wants us to
we've got to make
strip it down and make sure it's all right and do whatever needs doing to the block.
Nice. Over here, mate, this is one of the next ones we'll be getting on a stand. This is the, I don't want to say dreaded, but this is a Focus ST 8-year-old. And this is the
Volvo motor.
Volvo.
I wouldn't say dreaded. I'd say problematic, but I like these.
Can be dreaded depending on who's had their hands on it, I would say. But it's a great sounding engine. It's a great engine anyway.
It's just a cool thing, isn't it? A 5-cylinder.
It is, yeah.
They're always cool.
But for whatever reason, they do tend to have issues in the Fords as opposed to in the Volvos.
I think it's because of the tuning. not saying people are mapping them
Pop
wrong,
and
but
banging
it's
it and all
pop
the rest
and
of it,
bangs,
mate.
big turbos. It's like
They
you're asking a lot.
Don't like it.
And, you know, they're not...
Never had any trouble with them in a T5 Volvo, did you?
No.
And that was a great car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be getting in amongst that, mate. He's accepted the estimate and, yeah, quite looking forward to making that one not minty.
Yeah.
Head's in there. It was a brand new head, actually.
Oh, right.
I think it's done a couple of valves or whatever, but, yeah, we'll be getting on with that soon.
Got a Pinto here as well, haven't we?
Got a Pinto, mate. That also looks like landfill at the moment, but that is going to be a nice before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, get that one painted up.
But we'll go into that in another video. Before I finish today's video, mate, I've just got some sad news.
It is sad. It genuinely is.
End of an era.
I'm sad about it, but I understand why it's happening.
So we're not going to tell them why it's happening, or completely why it's happening at the minute.
No.
But one is to clear up some excess payments. We've got enough vehicles round here to use, especially from going to and from home.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting rid of the orange van.
Yep.
Many people out in the comments are going to be saying that's one thing I probably wouldn't be getting rid of.
No,
I'd be getting rid of everything else before that.
I think people will say, why don't you get rid of a few of the projects rather than the work van? But there is good reason for it.
So one of the reasons I'm getting rid of the orange van is because it is coming up, believe it or not, it's coming up to 4 years of ownership.
Yeah.
And I got the thing on a HP, which means I've got a final balloon payment if I want to keep the vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, when I purchased that vehicle, not just for the colour, but one of the reasons for buying the MSRT was because, although they're dear to buy new, there was 0% finance from Ford. You chuck your VAT in as a deposit, which is a no-brainer. And the second-hand value of the MSRT is mental.
Yeah.
So
worth a lot.
I got speaking to, if you noticed, outside I had a couple of cars for sale.
Yeah.
Not my cars, relatives' cars, one of which is an M3 BMW. Dealer rang me up from up country, performance car dealer, offered good money for the M3, happened to mention the Transit, and he's offered me
very strong money.
Very strong money, really. And to be honest, that was my full intention.
Yeah,
so,
well, like you said, it's coming up to the end, and you'd have a balloon payment, or you'd have to give it back. So it's like it makes more sense if someone's offering to buy it now.
Yeah. So what we're going to do for a minute, just move it on. We've had a trouble-free almost 4 years out of it. So if we end up needing a van, we're going to use the Subaru for a minute or two.
Yeah.
If we end up using or needing a van, we should probably buy something a bit cheaper, a bit less.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a very fancy, posh van,
isn't it? It's a lovely van.
It's
but then
absolutely brilliant.
They should be.
Yeah.
Because it ain't cheap.
No.
So, yeah, it served its purpose, mate. Got out of it what I intended on getting out of it.
Yeah.
Like I say, with the second-hand values, it works out that really your monthly payments with the 0% interest, it ain't dear to be fair, but it is when it gets to the end of the term.
Yeah.
So there we go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, and onwards and upwards, and I'll let you know in the near future what we're going to be doing. Cheers, guys.